guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be answering the questions that you guys left, and this is going to be my first Q&A ever. So thank you to all of you who left questions on my last video and on Snapchat. I enjoyed seeing the questions that you guys asked, and actually I don't think anyone asked the same question. So everyone's was different. So I have a little list right here with all the questions on there. I think there's like 14, so I'm gonna not stay on one too long because I don't want a forever long video. But let's go ahead and get started. The first question is, how did my husband and I meet and how did he propose? We actually have an interesting story of how we met, and it's kind of a long drawn out story that I won't get into in this video. So if you're interested in hearing that, I am fine doing a video on that. But we actually met on the beach, and then we ran into each other a few months later. We never exchanged information when we met on the beach, and then we ended up running into each other in a gym. So that's how we met. And then how did he propose? He actually had this grand idea of how he was gonna propose, but apparently I was just being so nosy and kind of asking a lot of questions that pretty much one morning he woke up before me, grabbed the ring and put it on my finger, and when I woke up, the ring was on my finger. So not necessarily the most romantic, but I honestly wouldn't change it for the world. The next question is kind of a long one. It's, will my husband be on the vlog? And how do I balance family and work considering the fact that he's not always home, that he's kind of gone a lot more than the average spouse? To answer the first question, will he be on the vlog? I honestly don't know. He doesn't really show interest in purposely being on the vlog. You guys will see him in the vacation vlog because it's kind of inevitable, because my parents and husband and I are gonna be on vacation in a few days. And in order for me to vlog my whole vacation on the cruise, he's obviously gonna have to be on camera. He has been a teacher, flight instructor, and he also does briefs for the military, and he just does not like himself talking. He doesn't like hearing himself talk either. And when you're editing vlogs, all you hear is yourself talking over and over again. And I think he just kind of gets leery of that. So I don't know that he'll actually be doing sit down vlogs anytime soon or ever, but he definitely will be on the vlog for random things like days in the life and our vacation vlog and stuff like that. And then how do I balance family and work? Because you guys know I am a full-time working mom. My husband obviously works full-time, but he has a really strange schedule, and he is going for the military every now and then. So how do I balance it? I didn't just have this thrown on me. When my husband and I got married, he was on kind of a contract for teaching flight school in Alabama. So as soon as we met and started dating, he was never actually home at a normal 9 to 5 time. So I think it's easier for me to balance it because this is all I've ever known. I know we have kind of a schedule of when he works overnight, I take our daughter to daycare and he picks her up. And then if he is off work and has nothing going on, he takes her and picks her up from daycare, which helps me out a ton. So yeah, we just kind of make it work, and it's just, to us, that's ordinary life. It's just normal. And even there's times whenever he's home for a longer stretch of time that I'm like, I don't even know what to do with you here. It's so different for us. So I balance it, but it's easier, I think, on us because it's all we have ever known. The next question is, what are my thoughts on being a working mom versus a stay-at-home mom? And the second part of the question is, would I stay home with the kids if we had more kids? And to answer the first part of that question, if you're a stay-at-home mom, that's fantastic. If you're a working mom, that's fantastic. I do feel bad for those of you who want to stay at home but probably can't afford it, or whatever the reason may be, because I think if you want to stay at home with your kids, I think you should be able to, but I know that not everyone can financially afford it. The reason why I don't stay at home with Aniston is because I just felt like I wanted my own kind of identity as a working mom, and I did stay at home for a period of time, and I just didn't honestly like to stay at home. I get plenty of time with my daughter, one-on-one because of how my husband's schedule is, so I don't really feel like I'm missing out on much. I don't know. I think if you want to stay at home, that's great. It's just my personal preference. I like to work. And honestly, if we had more kids, I probably still would continue working. And the only exception I would say would be if we were to have multiples because of our fertility treatments that we're on. Say we had twins, I honestly don't know if I would work immediately after or if I would take kind of that first year off. My husband's definitely supportive of either thing that I would decide, but I really would have to think about what I wanted to do. So yeah, that one I don't really know. I would say if we had just one child, like one child in the next pregnancy, I most likely would not stay at home, but I would go ahead and take advantage of the 12-week maternity leave, so I would have that time with the baby. The next question is, how do I handle the challenges created by being a blended family? You guys probably, if you watch my channel, know that I have a stepdaughter who's 8 years old from my husband. He was married previously and yeah, has an 8-year-old daughter, obviously. How do I handle the challenges of it? I'm assuming you probably mean by that question, is there a challenge because she's not my biological child? Do I have a relationship with her mother? And someone else also asked about if I had a relationship with my stepchild's mother. So I guess the challenges of being a blended family, there's not too many challenges for me, to be honest, because my husband has a really good relationship with his daughter's mother. As far as my relationship with her, do I have one? The answer is no. We don't have like a relationship where we, text each other or talk to each other. My husband does all the communication, and no, that's definitely not my preference and it's not my choice. But I just think that when my husband and I got together, there were a lot of feelings on that end kind of not closed. And my husband and I are also 10 years apart, and I think that kind of made her uncomfortable at first. And now that we've been married for almost 5 years, I think that maybe things have definitely gotten better as far as like her texting my husband and asking, hey, can Anna do, our daughter's hair for this, and her wanting me to do things, but I don't think she feels comfortable to come to me. And I think maybe we both feel that way, and so no one's gonna really make the first move. I just kind of leave it up to her because I don't want to like overstep any boundaries. And I definitely don't make any like parenting decisions necessarily. I do kind of dictate, of course, like bedtime in my house and, just things like that. But I don't make any like decisions that I don't feel like are mine to make. But I just, kind of stand by and support them as being co-parents. The next question is, what would I do if I won the lottery? Yes, can we please win the lottery? Honestly, guys, if I did win the lottery, probably the first thing that I would do would just be pay off like everything. I would pay off my house and my vehicle, and my husband's is already paid off, so I'm not being stingy. It's just already paid off. And then I probably would just go ahead and like keep working because I really honestly enjoy my career, and I would probably set up a college fund for both girls and put a large sum of money into those accounts just so they could both have, not have to worry about college if they don't get scholarships or something like that. The rest of it, I don't honestly know what I would do. I definitely would want to like put some of that towards charities, especially like the Wounded Warrior projects. It would take a lot of kind of like research and trying to figure out what to do with it, because I think the biggest mistakes that people make when they win the lottery is they never think it can happen to them, and so they kind of just go and blow the money on whatever and give it to all their family and friends who asked for it. If I won the lottery, I would not tell a soul except for my husband. So I don't want to have to deal with any of that stuff. But what's the chance of winning the lottery? Isn't it like you have more of a chance of being like attacked by a shark or something? The next question is, how did I handle my husband's deployment? Just a quick backstory. My husband and I were married for about 10 months before we deployed, or 11 months before about 11 months before we deployed. And my daughter was 4 weeks old whenever he deployed. And I had just moved to Iowa, and I knew no one. I had one friend that I met when my husband taught flight school, and I obviously knew his family, but he deployed. I lived in a townhouse, and I decided it was best for me to just get a full-time job. when my daughter was a little bit old enough. I mean, she was, I think, 10 weeks old before I put her with a nanny and went to work, only because I felt like working full-time would pass the time better, and it would kind of give me my own independence living in a state that I had just moved to and literally did not know much about. I was terrified to even drive on the snow because I had never seen it before, like in my life. And yeah, I mean, it was definitely hard being a new mom, having a brand new baby. I wasn't sleeping at night and I was working full-time, and then the holidays were the worst. The holidays were about the halfway point, and you realize how lonely you are during the holidays. I didn't fly home. I actually flew home like 2 months before the holidays, so I didn't want to take time off to go back to that. And I just really didn't want to leave because I hated the winter time, and I didn't really want to go anywhere but work and home, and I wanted to do literally nothing else. I was grateful enough. If you guys watch my surgery video, my friend Natasha, who took me, her family actually took me in over the holidays because our husbands were deployed together, and that helped me get through it. But definitely the hardest part was the last few months that he was gone. I ended up taking more college courses because I took a break to move to Iowa and have my daughter. So I was working full-time, being a full-time like single parent pretty much, and taking college classes. I don't think I slept. I don't think I really did much of anything. But I pretty much just looked forward to certain times. Like every other weekend we had something going on, so I'd look forward to that, and then 2 weeks were gone by, and then I'd look forward to the next thing. And honestly, the last like 2 months were the absolute worst because we were just kind of counting down. But honestly, guys, in these times, we are so blessed to be able to have, well, I'm not going to speak for everyone, but my husband's unit were able to, you know, obtain Wi-Fi. And I was able to talk to my husband on FaceTime. He was able to go to the USO and send videos back of himself reading books to our baby girl. And even though it was hard, I can't imagine those who have to deploy and not speak to their family at all. Yeah, I mean, it's lonely, especially when you have a brand new child. I mean, I know it's hard on everyone. It was just a different kind of hard for me, having no family. And I'm sure you guys will probably ask why I didn't live at home with my mom, you know, while he was deployed. And that's because I felt like I needed to be with the Army Wife group. I felt like I needed to go ahead and establish myself in Iowa instead of just waiting until he got back from deployment, because I didn't want him to move to Iowa because he would have left before I gave birth to Aniston. So he could have missed the birth by having to fly back. And by that point we were married. I know I'm an adult. I knew what I was doing when I married him and where I was gonna have to live at, so there was no point in just delaying it. I think I learned a lot that year. I grew as a person so much. The second part of that question is, do I worry about him being deployed again? I'm not really worried about it. They pretty much deploy on like a certain schedule. It's not a guaranteed schedule, but it's held pretty true the whole time my husband's been in for the past 17 years. I know a deployment is coming. Obviously, for OPSEC rules, we can't talk about it, dates or anything like that. But it was obviously expected. We knew about the time frame, so I definitely don't worry about it. I worry about him when he's over there, absolutely. But the time leading up to it, we just cherish the time together and we just deal with it when it comes. Next thing is, what is my greatest life achievement? And I think that my greatest life achievement thus far is, you know, establishing my family. My biggest thing in life was to be a mom, and I've always wanted to be a mother. And I think that it's just so great to, you know, achieve that. And if it's not for you and you don't want to be a mom, you know, that's one thing. But for me, I always knew I would be a mother. And obviously I established my family really young. I was only 21 years old when my husband and I got married. But I don't feel like that's too young, to be honest. I mean, I guess it's all about your maturity level and where you are in your life and in your career. And a lot of people think that 21's too young because you're not normally done with college by that point. But honestly, I don't feel that at all. I think it's just a person by person basis. And so yeah, I think my greatest life achievement thus far, it can obviously maybe change a little bit, but this far I'm just very happy and proud that I have my family. And yeah. Another one very similar to that one was, what is my greatest life upset or mistake? I definitely think we make a lot of mistakes in life. Too many to count. If I'm counting my own, I've made obviously a ton of mistakes in my life. The biggest upset that I have in my life, and I don't really like thinking about this time really at all, but there was a point in my life where my mom and I had zero relationship. And looking back on that, to me, I just regret that time so much because I knew everything and I was 18 and fresh out of the house and I thought I knew it all. And to not have my mother in my life, comparing it to now, I have no clue what the hell I was thinking and I have no clue how I got through it because now we're so inseparable, even though we live 17 hours from each other. We FaceTime when we're getting ready for work, literally every single morning. We talk multiple times per day. She's my person that I go to. She's my rock. If she hurts, I hurt. As cliche as that sounds, like, I just never could imagine her not being around or not being there. And so I obviously regret that point in my life. I think I may have needed that point in my life, but I definitely regret myself, my actions, and my attitude whenever she was not around. And not around for my choice, not because she wasn't trying. She always tried. I just pushed her away and our relationship just was non-existent. The next question is a really good question, and they asked if I could go back and change anything, would I? And obviously, the last question, I would go back and change the fact that I went through this stage where I was not allowing my mother to be in my life. But I guess to not repeat the same thing over again, I won't use that. I guess if I could go back and change anything in my life, I would change the fact that I did not keep a close relationship with God. Throughout, I had this period where I went the opposite direction and just kind of stopped, giving any effort into that relationship, and it was completely non-existent, like far gone. It was a distant memory, and I felt like him not being a part of my life, even though he's always there, I just kind of pushed away from that. And I feel like if I had stuck true to my faith, I wouldn't have given up certain morals that I used to hold close. And yeah, so I mean, again, everything that happens in your life, any mistake, any regret, you learn from it. So I feel like maybe you need it. But if I could go back and change things, that's definitely the one thing that I say I would change. So that's it, guys. That is the end of my Q&A. Thank you guys so much for leaving the questions down below. I really enjoyed doing this. I will do one eventually again soon. I do have one more video set to go up before I go on vacation, kind of like a pack with me for vacation. I have a bunch more stuff ordered, and this weekend I have to start packing so I don't get behind. So one more video, and then I will start my vacation vlog journeys series, or whatever I'm gonna call it. But I will see you guys in my next video, and if you're not subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button below so you can follow along in our journey, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.